food storage friends, and welcome back to another episode of Everyday Food Storage, where I show you how to use food storage in everyday ways. Now today we are tackling the beast of food storage. You know what I'm talking about: powdered milk, making it drinkable and not gagging in the process. Now I have some perfect foolproof tips that I'm going to show you today on how to make drinkable powdered milk that won't make you gag, and also how to pass it off to your family in terms of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, cereal, chocolate milk, and even with milk's favorite cookie. Now let's get started. Okay, now obviously our major food storage ingredient in drinkable powdered milk is going to be powdered milk. Now you may be surprised to learn that my favorite powdered milk is from the LDS Home Storage Center. Now a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, but that's so gross, I remember drinking that when I was little. Well, I have really good news for you. In the last couple years, they have changed their process. They don't have to heat their milk as high as they used to, which means the flavor is so much better. In fact, in a blind taste test where they had people drink fresh milk from the grocery store and powdered milk, they couldn't tell the difference. No joke, okay? Plus, another great reason to use this is because it is so much less money than from other food storage companies. The equivalent gallon of milk from the LDS Home Storage Center costs about $2.25. If you were to buy it from another food storage company, it costs upwards of $8 a gallon. That is extraordinarily expensive. So in that case, I wouldn't use it on an everyday basis, which is again why I go back to the LDS Home Storage Center powdered milk. Plus, if it's been a while and you think, well, I don't live by one, or I don't have time to go in, guess what? You can purchase it online and they will ship it straight to your house for only like $3 shipping. It is so great. I will put a link below on where you can click to purchase it online. Now, the next ingredient is obviously going to be some water. And we're also going to use a really cool Sterilite 1-gallon jug. These are my favorites for doing powdered milk in because it has a nice tight lid on top so that it won't flavor your milk in any way while it sits in your fridge. And I'll put a link to this as well below in the description. Now, let's get started mixing. Okay, now into our jug, we are going to add in 2 quarts of water. Now the reason we're doing this is because we want to put in half the water and mix in all of the powdered milk, then add in more water. That will make it easier to mix it all in this. Sometimes people say to do it in a blender, which you could, it's just another thing to wash, and I'm not into washing extra dishes. So now we're gonna add in 3 cups of powdered milk. 3 cups is the amount for a whole gallon. So if you're doing half a gallon, you're gonna do 1.5 cups of milk. And then we are simply going to give this a good stir. The other nice thing about the new process that the LDS Home Storage Center does for their milk is that it makes it a whole lot easier to mix into your water. Now once you have this initial full amount of powdered milk mixed in with half the water, we're going to go ahead and pour in the other half of water and give it a stir. Okay, now you're gonna notice, whoops, it's still frothy just like before. However, once we put this in the fridge overnight, that froth is going to calm way down. Now at this point, there are a couple other tips and tricks you can try if you really are afraid your family's not gonna like it. Now, you can add a little bit of sugar to it, and I'm talking like 1 to 2 teaspoons, not a lot. I've seen online where they tell you to put in like a half cup. This is not milk Kool-Aid, okay? The whole reason we're drinking this is for its nutritional value. We don't want to compromise it by adding in that much sugar. Now, the other thing that you can do is add in just a little bit of vanilla. It's the same trick that almond and soy milk uses, and it will work for your powdered milk as well. It will make it taste almost like melted ice cream. I've served this before when my kids have had friends over and they're like, this tastes so great. So go ahead and give those 2 a try if you're really worried that it is not going to work for you. Now, last but not least, the most important thing is putting it in your fridge overnight. Okay, and then there's one more final trick. Now this is the sneakiest trick of them all, and it's going to involve your powdered milk and a half-empty jug of fresh milk from the grocery store. Now for this trick, we're gonna take our prepared powdered milk. We're gonna pour it into our store-bought milk. Now when you're doing this, if you use whole milk and you mix it half and half with your powdered milk, it's going to make 2% milk. If you mix it half and half with 2% milk, you're going to get 1% milk. So you can make it just to how your family likes it. Now I like to use a funnel because I'm not into making messes and having to clean up messes. And you're just gonna pour the milk inside, and again, you're going to make sure it chills overnight. And you're going to give it a good shake when it's all done to make sure it gets well incorporated. Now just put the lid on and give it a good shake. Okay, now again, make sure you put this milk in the fridge overnight before you give it to any unsuspecting family members. Okay, I've showed you how to make delicious powdered milk, but here is my all-time best tip for passing off powdered milk to your family, and that is do not tell them they are drinking powdered milk, okay? So if you need to, make sure you serve it in your child's favorite cup. Serve it with their favorite peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Pour it in their favorite cereal. Mix in some delicious chocolate syrup or your kid's favorite chocolate powder like a Nesquik or something, and serve it to them after school as chocolate milk. And of course, you can always serve it with Milk's favorite cookie and have them dunk it in it. So now you know the secrets to creating drinkable powdered milk that won't make you or your family gag. Now to make sure you are aware of all of my latest episodes, make sure you subscribe below. And make sure you leave a comment with either your huge success story about feeding powdered milk to your family, or I am not ashamed to admit powdered milk used to be terrible in the past. Go ahead and leave a comment with your worst powdered milk story. Mine involves coming home late at night from a dance and pouring myself a big glass of warm, frothy powdered milk. Blah. Aren't you glad you know how to use powdered milk now and that they have changed it? I know I am, and we will see you next week for another episode of Everyday Food Storage. Want the recipe? Visit storethisnotthat.com and click the Everyday Food Storage link.